Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why? Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why some women walk into a room and instantly command respect, admiration, and influence without even saying a single word? It's not about beauty, money, or status, it's about value. Today, I want to share with you how to become a high value woman, not in the eyes of society, but in the eyes of your own self worth and purpose. Because when you truly understand your value, you stop chasing and you start attracting. Some women walk into a room and instantly command respect, admiration, and influence without even saying a single word. It's not about beauty, money, or status, it's about value. Today, I want to share with you how to become a high value woman, not in the eyes of society, but in the eyes of your own self, worth, and purpose. Because when you truly understand your value, you stop chasing and you start attracting. Self respect is the foundation of becoming a high value woman, and without it, everything else begins to crumble. When a woman has deep respect for herself, she does not compromise her values just to please others. She does not lower her standards out of fear of losing someone, and she does not accept behavior that diminishes her worth. Self-respect is not about being arrogant or unapproachable. It is about knowing exactly who you are and what you deserve. Imagine walking into a relationship or a workplace with clear boundaries. You know what is acceptable and what is not. And because of that, people around you automatically sense your value. They treat you the way you allow them to treat you. If you tolerate disrespect, people will continue to disrespect you. If you carry yourself with dignity and make it clear through your words and actions that you will not settle for less, then you attract the kind of treatment that aligns with your worth. A high value woman doesn't beg for love, she doesn't chase attention, and she doesn't lose herself trying to be accepted by others. Instead, she builds her identity around principles, around character, and around her inner strength. This kind of self-respect creates a powerful aura where even in silence, she communicates confidence. It's like a quiet magnetism. People feel drawn to her not because she is loud or flashy, but because she radiates strength and stability. Self-respect also means learning how to say no without guilt, and yes, only when it truly aligns with your values. It means protecting your mental and emotional space from negativity, toxic relationships, and environments that drain your energy. It means understanding that being alone is far better than being surrounded by people who don't value you. When a woman embraces self-respect, she becomes unshakable, because her worth is no longer tied to the opinions or validation of others. And that is the first and most crucial step in becoming a truly high value woman. Emotional strength is one of the most defining qualities of a high value woman because it allows her to navigate life's challenges without being easily broken or controlled by circumstances. Many people believe that strength only shows in physical toughness or in being loud and dominant, but true strength often reveals itself in silence, in composure, and in the way a person responds when things don't go as planned. A high-value woman understands that she cannot control everything that happens around her, but she can always control how she reacts. Instead of lashing out in anger, drowning in self-pity, or allowing fear to paralyze her, she trains herself to pause, reflect, and respond wisely. This doesn't mean she suppresses her emotions or pretends to be unaffected. It means she acknowledges her feelings but refuses to let them dictate her choices. When a storm comes into her life, whether it is rejection, betrayal, loss, or disappointment, she doesn't crumble permanently. She may bend, she may feel the weight, but she does not break. She uses pain as a teacher, failure as feedback, and obstacles as stepping stones. Emotional strength is what keeps her from becoming dependent on external validation or approval, because she knows that people can change, circumstances can shift, and the world can be unpredictable. If her worth is tied only to those external factors, she will always feel insecure. But when her inner world is strong, when she draws peace from within, she becomes steady even when everything else feels shaky. This strength also shows in her relationships. Instead of reacting with jealousy, insecurity, or unnecessary drama, she approaches people with maturity. She doesn't allow others to manipulate her through guilt or emotional games, because she has trained herself to identify what is genuine and what is unhealthy. When conflict arises, she seeks solutions rather than escalating the fire with more chaos. She doesn't waste time proving herself to those who are determined not to see her value, and she doesn't run after those who walk away. She has the courage to let go when holding on no longer serves her peace. And that ability to detach from what is harmful is one of the greatest marks of emotional strength. A high-value woman understands that life is a mix of joy and sorrow, wins and losses, laughter and tears, and she accepts this reality without bitterness. She doesn't allow a single failure to define her, nor does she let a single success make her arrogant. She keeps herself balanced, grounded, and centered. Emotional strength also gives her the power to forgive, not because others always deserve it, but because she values her own peace of mind more than holding on to grudges. It allows her to rise above petty conflicts and focus her energy on things that truly matter. Ultimately, emotional strength is what makes her glow differently. It's not loud, it's not boastful, but people feel it when they interact with her. They sense stability, they feel trust, and they admire the calmness she carries even when life throws storms her way. This strength makes her not only resilient but also inspiring, because it proves that no matter what happens, she will not be defeated. She will rise again stronger, wiser, and even more graceful than before. Living a purpose-driven life is what elevates a woman from merely existing to truly thriving, and it is one of the greatest qualities that sets a high-value woman apart. Many people spend their days moving from task to task, running after approval, wealth, or temporary pleasures, but at the end of it all, they feel empty because they have no clear sense of direction. A high-value woman, however, chooses to anchor her life in purpose. She asks herself the deeper questions: why am I here? What am I meant to contribute to this world? How can I use my talents, my time, and my energy in a way that creates meaning not just for me, but also for others? When she starts living with that mindset, her life no longer feels scattered or shallow. It becomes intentional and fulfilling. Purpose gives her vision, and vision gives her power. A woman who knows her purpose is not easily distracted by what others are doing, because she understands her path is uniquely designed for her. She does not waste her time in endless comparison, jealousy, or chasing trends just to feel significant, because her sense of significance comes from within. She invests in herself by learning, growing, and expanding her skills, not for the sake of competition, but because she wants to become the best version of herself. Her focus shifts from asking, "What can I get?" to "What can I give?" And this simple shift transforms the quality of her life and relationships. When challenges appear, and they always do, her purpose gives her the strength to persevere. While others may quit, when things get hard, she pushes forward because she knows her mission is bigger than her obstacles. For example, if her purpose is to build a career, she doesn't get disheartened by one rejection or failure. If her purpose is to nurture her family, she does it with dedication even when it feels exhausting. If her purpose is to inspire others, she keeps going even when not everyone claps for her. Purpose becomes her fuel, her guiding compass, and her source of resilience. A high-value woman also understands that living with purpose does not always mean chasing big public achievements. Sometimes it is about the quiet, consistent contributions that shape lives in unseen ways. It could be raising children with love and wisdom, supporting a community, building a small business with integrity, or simply spreading kindness wherever she goes. She knows that no role is small when it is done with sincerity and alignment to her values. She measures her life not by applause, but by impact, not by how much she accumulates, but by how much she contributes. The beauty of a purpose-driven life is that it gives a woman clarity about what to accept and what to walk away from. She doesn't entertain distractions that waste her energy. She doesn't settle for relationships that derail her from her mission. And she doesn't live just to fit into society's expectations. Instead, she lives by principles that reflect her vision. And because of this clarity, she inspires others without even trying. People are drawn to her passion, to her consistency, and to the light in her eyes that only comes from living with meaning. In the end, living with purpose makes her unshakable. Because when you know your why, the how becomes manageable. She may face setbacks, but she never feels lost. Because her sense of direction is not defined by the temporary ups and downs of life. It is rooted in something deeper, something that keeps her moving forward with dignity and strength. A high-value woman doesn't just live, she lives with intention, and that makes all the difference. Compassion is one of the most powerful qualities of a high-value woman because it reflects not just how she treats others, but also how she sees herself. In a world that often celebrates competition, comparison, and constant rivalry, a compassionate woman stands out because she chooses empathy over envy and kindness over cruelty. She doesn't feel the need to tear others down in order to shine because she knows her light will never dim by helping another person's light shine brighter. Compassion is not weakness. It is an incredible strength because it requires a heart that is open, understanding, and willing to uplift others even when life tests her own patience. A high-value woman with compassion has the ability to truly listen. In conversations, she doesn't just wait for her turn to speak. She listens with her heart. People feel safe around her because they sense she understands them without judgment. She offers encouragement instead of criticism, guidance instead of gossip, and a helping hand instead of indifference. When others make mistakes, she doesn't rush to condemn them. because she knows that everyone is fighting battles unseen. Her compassion allows her to see beyond flaws and recognize the humanity in people. This doesn't mean she allows others to take advantage of her kindness. It means she sets healthy boundaries, but still carries a spirit of grace in how she deals with others. Her compassion also extends to how she treats herself. Too many women are harsh with themselves, constantly criticizing their looks, doubting their abilities, or punishing themselves for past mistakes. A high-value woman, however, knows that self-compassion is essential. She speaks kindly to herself, forgives herself for her imperfections, and treats her own soul with gentleness. By showing love inwardly, she becomes capable of radiating love outwardly. Her compassion becomes a source of healing, both for herself and for those around her. In relationships, compassion becomes her superpower. She doesn't compete with her partner, she supports him. She doesn't play games of manipulation, she communicates with care and honesty. She understands that real strength lies not in dominating others, but in nurturing them. Friends, family, colleagues, and even strangers feel her warmth because she has mastered the art of giving without expecting constant returns. People naturally gravitate towards her presence because she makes them feel valued, seen, and respected. Yet, her compassion is balanced with wisdom. She knows the difference between helping and enabling, between supporting and being used. She offers kindness, but not at the cost of her dignity. She helps, but she doesn't lose herself in saving others. This balance makes her compassion even more powerful because it comes with discernment. She gives, but she also knows when to step back to protect her peace. Compassion also brings her inner fulfillment. When she uplifts someone, when she comforts someone in pain, when she inspires someone to rise above their struggles, she experiences a joy that material success cannot provide. That fulfillment becomes part of her radiance, making her presence a blessing wherever she goes. Compassion makes her unforgettable, because long after people forget her words, they will always remember how she made them feel. In the end, compassion is the quality that softens her strength and strengthens her softness. It gives her a magnetic charm that no external beauty or wealth could ever compete with. A high-value woman with compassion is not only respected but deeply cherished because she carries within her a rare gift, the ability to heal hearts and inspire souls simply by being who she is. Confidence is the crown of a high-value woman, and it is not something she borrows from the compliments of others or from the attention she receives. It is something she wears from within. True confidence is quiet, steady, and deeply rooted in self-awareness. It is not arrogance, it is not superiority, and it is not about proving oneself louder than others. It is about walking into every situation with the calm assurance that you are enough, that you are worthy, and that nothing and no one can strip away your dignity. A high-value woman doesn't need to boast or exaggerate who she is, because her presence alone communicates strength. Her confidence comes from knowing her value, from respecting her own journey, and from embracing her uniqueness without apology. This kind of confidence shows in the way she carries herself. She doesn't try to shrink to make others comfortable, nor does she feel the need to overcompensate to be noticed. When she speaks, she does so with clarity and purpose, not to impress but to express. When she walks into a room, she doesn't desperately search for approval because her worth does not depend on the reactions of the crowd. She knows that attention is temporary, but self-assurance is permanent. Even in silence, her confidence radiates through her posture, her energy, and the peace she carries within. People respect her not because she demands respect, but because her authenticity makes it impossible not to. Confidence also shapes how she responds to challenges. While others may crumble under criticism, she accepts feedback with grace and uses it to grow. She does not run away from failure because she knows mistakes are simply lessons in disguise. She doesn't let rejection shatter her because she understands that what is meant for her will not pass her by. Her self-belief is not shaken by temporary setbacks. Instead, each obstacle becomes proof of her resilience. This confidence allows her to take risks, to step out of her comfort zone, and to pursue her dreams without being paralyzed by fear. In relationships, her confidence prevents her from settling for less than she deserves. She does not cling out of insecurity, nor does she compromise her values to keep someone in her life. She knows she is complete on her own, and if someone chooses to walk away, she lets them go with dignity. She does not chase, beg, or plead for love, because she understands that real love will meet her where she is, not demand that she lower her worth. Her confidence makes her magnetic, because people are drawn to someone who is secure, whole, and unshaken. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of her confidence is that it empowers others. She doesn't use it to intimidate or belittle. Instead, her confidence is an invitation. It inspires people around her to believe in themselves too. When others see her living authentically, unapologetically, and gracefully, they realize that they too can embrace their worth. Her confidence becomes a light, guiding others out of their insecurities and into their own strength. A high-value woman understands that confidence is not about being perfect. It is about being real. It is about embracing her flaws as much as her strengths, her struggles as much as her victories. It is about knowing that she doesn't need to be everything to everyone. She only needs to be true to herself. And that truth, lived boldly and unapologetically, makes her unshakable. Confidence gives her the courage to stand tall in the face of adversity, to walk away from what no longer serves her, and to step into opportunities that once seemed out of reach. In the end, confidence is not the loudest voice in the room. It is the quiet certainty that you belong there. It is not about having all the answers, but about trusting that you have the strength to figure things out. It is not about being flawless, but about being fearless in your authenticity. A high-value woman wears her confidence like a crown, not to overshadow others, but to remind them that they too can rise and shine with dignity and grace. Elegance is one of the most subtle yet most powerful qualities of a high-value woman because it goes beyond outer appearance and rests in the way she carries herself, the way she interacts with people, and the way she handles situations. Elegance is not only about the clothes she wears or the way she looks. It is about grace, poise, and refinement in her actions, words, and character. A high-value woman understands that true beauty is not loud. It does not need to scream for attention. Instead, elegance whispers confidence, dignity, and sophistication without uttering a word. This kind of elegance shows in her presence. When she walks into a room, she doesn't rush to be noticed, yet people naturally notice her. Her posture, her calmness, her measured words, and her warm but composed demeanor make her stand out in a world that often confuses chaos with charisma. She is never desperate for attention, and that in itself makes her unforgettable. Even in simple clothing or modest surroundings, her elegance shines through because it comes from within. It is in the way she treats others with courtesy, in the way she listens without interrupting, and in the way she maintains her composure even when things around her become tense. Elegance also reveals itself in her communication. She doesn't raise her voice to prove a point, nor does she use harsh or degrading words to assert herself. She knows the strength of speaking with calm authority, where every word carries weight because it is delivered with clarity and respect. Her elegance is not about being timid or silent. It is about knowing how to express herself with balance. She can be firm without being rude, assertive without being arrogant, and honest without being cruel. People leave conversations with her feeling uplifted rather than diminished, and that is the essence of true refinement. This elegance extends into how she handles conflicts and difficulties. While others may lose control in anger or frustration, she chooses patience and composure. She doesn't allow temporary emotions to lead her into actions she will later regret. Even when she is wronged, she responds with dignity, refusing to lower herself to bitterness or revenge. Her elegance is in her ability to walk away gracefully from situations and people that no longer align with her peace. She doesn't slam doors with hatred. She closes them with quiet strength, knowing that her value is not diminished by letting go. Elegance also shows in the way she balances strength and softness. She is strong enough to face life's challenges, yet soft enough to show kindness and warmth. She doesn't confuse being elegant with being passive, nor does she mistake being strong with being harsh. She knows how to merge the two, creating a presence that is both inspiring and approachable. This balance makes her unforgettable because she becomes someone who commands respect while also inviting trust. A high-value woman also shows elegance in how she takes care of herself. It's not just about external beauty, but about self-respect in every detail. She values her health, her time, her energy, and her personal space. She doesn't indulge in gossip or negativity because she understands that her character is reflected not just in what she does, but also in what she chooses not to do. She invests in her growth, her learning, and her spiritual depth, and that refinement shines through in her interactions. In the end, elegance is not something she puts on like an outfit. It is something she lives. It is a reflection of her inner world, her self-awareness, and her commitment to carry herself with dignity no matter the situation. Elegance is timeless because while trends come and go, the grace of a high-value woman leaves a lasting impression. She may not always be the loudest voice or the most glamorous presence, but her elegance makes her unforgettable. It becomes her silent power, the quality that makes people admire her, respect her, and remember her long after she has left the room.